Hi, this is not a game dev vlog with a giant squirrel fairy dust run. So I did one before, but that was kind of a technological problem. So I decided to do it again because it's such a fun concept and I really want to share it. So I tried to get the 10 wins again with this build, and I was partly inspired by the recent Grounded Sep video where he tries to make good use with both 1 mana and 1 trumpet. Because this build also leans on the fact that this mana, the fairy dust gives 2 mana. Well, that's twice as much as what Grounded does, so half as cool. But still, it was very fun for me to figure out which pets make good use of this 2 mana. So the giant squirrel, which I assume we will find hopefully quite early. This is a bit ago that I did this run, so that's an older replay. Oh, we don't find it. Well, the giant squirrel was very overpowered. Well, it was mostly an exploit in the test server because it gave perks, I think, before attack to both the enemy and our own back pet. And now it has changed to giving it after attack, which means a lot of perks cannot be given because they get removed after attack, like melon or yeah, what else? Maybe that's the coconut, of course. And there it is. So let's read the description. After attack, copy perk to backmost pets from both teams works 1 time per battle, and when you level it up, it works 2 times per battle. So in the beginning, I thought it would give all these perks immediately, but you need to get it big enough so that it can get multiple triggers to give multiple perks. And one upside, of course, of this perk giving to the opponent is that it replaces their perks with something else. And I decided to go for the fairy dust. And the fairy dust is also something you don't see a lot, which is also not played a lot. But that makes every pet into a jump pet, basically, and it gives 2 mana. So now you are probably thinking, if you haven't watched the other video, how can we then give mana, fairy dust to the back, fairy dust to the back, if it's after attack? Well, if you put the pet in the front, it doesn't trigger, and it keeps the perk. And that means we can pull the enemies to the front, which is cool, like a kind of a mini donkey, very fragile mini donkey. So hopefully we will find that soon so we can see it in action. For now, I'm just pouring stats into, there it is. So let's also read that description. Empty front space, jump to the front and gain 2 mana. So we're just dumping stats because it has to be big enough to survive. Right now, I prefer giving the mana to the front Pangobble for this turn, and then using the jump ability of the giant squirrel. So in many runs I started out with putting the giant squirrel immediately to the front, but yeah, that means you are a little bit weaker. This is a little bit better use of the perk in the early turns, and otherwise you are going to lose too much tempo to even survive. So now we even used so I added a lot of these buffing pets apart from the pets I need. So we have the flashlight, we have the zebra, I take the gelada. And now you can see it in action. Well, do we? Yes. We bring the penguin to the front. Now we already sniped the dog, but otherwise it would have jumped to the front as well, missing out on a lot of triggers. So we take down this, I think, free-to-play team. Do we go for the level 3 giant squirrel? Not yet. And then with all this jumping, so that was the goal. So both make use of the mana and put something behind that makes use of the jumping. So either a frogman, of course, an early frogman would have been nice. But now we have an immediate level 2 poison dart frog doing quite some damage. And we freeze the chimera, which is perfect in this combination. We both use the mana and the jumping because we will get 2 feints in front of the poison dart frog if everything goes well. And look at this! So how often do you see that? We use the fairy dust to bring their Quetzalcoatlus to the front and get the stats from that. I don't think it mattered, but that's a very rare situation, I feel like. So that alone is very funny thing. We even push for level 2 Gelada here. I assume we are also going to bring in the Chimera, even give it the mana potion. We want to keep tempo because this will fall off quite quickly. There is some scaling with Aklut or Loveland Frogman, but I need so many pets that there's very little room for any more scaling in the final build. So we want to win early, basically. So here again you see we bring everything to the front, which means we get a lot of snipes off, and this hippo doesn't even get to attack. So when it works, it is a really strong and really fun combo, I think, because it doesn't rely on stats. Well, we got the big front guy, but apart from that, it relies very much on the very specific and fragile interaction. More stats. Oh, maybe we want to... So this is some tech, right? I freeze the milks because I want to bring in something else to buff with this hard-fought level 2 Gelada. And what do I find? Another Gelada. So more scaling. And we have this in-battle Gelada, in-shop Gelada train here. Because it will give 2 pairs, it will also trigger this one. So that's a juiced boost. And we have the 2 big sleeping Geladas that have to go, sadly. Very interesting team. I don't think we can beat it. We do have the mana, so maybe we can. It's actually quite close. So we are 7 wins, 2 hearts. This is one more pet that wasn't in my previous build. This is one of the tier 6 options that is kind of nice, because we give the opponent the fairy dust. They will do all these tiny snipes, so we get this extra hertz, and the Wolverine can use that to reduce some health. But we do want a final pet. I do want every pet to have a use basically in this build. So the cow also has to go for something else. Not sure yet what I'm gonna find. And actually the Wolverine is very well timed with this herd team. Well, it doesn't do a lot actually. But again, so they have the big pet on the back, and we pull it forward, so we trade very nicely. So all this. When the giant squirrel takes out the first pet, it will trade 3 for 1 often, because you take the small ones to the front and now they had the big one in the back, and it allowed us to trade even better. A nice turn 8 or 8 win toilet paper, always a good idea if you want to keep tempo. And then we bring in Aklut. So Aklut also featured in my previous video, or one of my previous videos, but one of the newer pets gives stats in exchange of mana, and it needs exactly 2 mana, so that's a perfect fit. There are also some mana pets that need a little bit more, so I couldn't use those with Fairy Dust. And this means that if all goes to plan, we even buff our PDF a little bit. This is one huge, very classic build, one huge guy, but the toilet paper PDF gets rid of it in almost one shot. And we clean up the rest. So we have this nice orangey, brownish, fall-colored team. We even get the level 2 Wolverine and just fill up the mana for the Chimera. And let's see the final battle. And we face this Dung Beetle team. Are we strong enough? We remove, of course, their stake. And then we bring everything forward. So that means that there's not much left. So I think this is an easy win. Yes. So there it is. Another example of this beautiful Giant Squirrel Fairy Dust team. If you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment, love to read those. Leave a like. And in any case, thanks for watching.